What's good, YouTube? Hey, hey, yeah. All right, so I got you looking at SLS Life Sciences Group Incorporated. This is a late trade review, a trade recap from a trade that I made all the way back on that day, on the 1st of November. So this green candle right here was when I actually made this trade. Now I got you looking at TC2000, daily chart on the right, 10-minute candle chart on the left. Not gonna get into too much of what the company actually is or doing because more than likely I was just looking at something technically on that day, as my strategy is really um, me screening through stocks that are up on the day, looking for an intraday breakout. It's predominantly my strategy because you can be looking at a stock for weeks waiting for it to pop, or you can look at what's popping on the day and get involved. And that's kind of my strategy. Uh, so what this thing ended up doing on this day, which I want to go ahead on and just since I can highlight it on that day, just sort of just give you the body of that day. Let's see if I can go ahead and get rid of that so it's free from my candle. So it was a gapper, as you can see. The previous day, which was the 31st, uh, Wednesday, 10/31, and this was a Thursday, 11/1. So it ended up gapping up. So I got into it, looking for it to be a gap and go. Um, it turned out to be a quick scout. I got into the stock about 157. I can see that immediately I had a stop set of 153. A lot of times I will put a black outline on my chart for where I'm looking to black out. Now, the stock looked like it set a resistance right at 162, so I was buying, hoping that we would break above 162. How far above 162 it would run is unknown. It's completely unknown. There's no way for me to know how far it would go. But as you can see in this candle at about 10:10, the first 10 minutes of the day, it broke above this 163 range. So I figured that I'm in this candle at 157. Uh, Being that this is a late trade recap, you can see that I actually did SLS. This is CLOS. Uh, this is my E-Trade account. This is a realized gain, small account. Many people aren't talking about small accounts out here. So it's extremely hard, especially with a broker like E-Trade, in which I can't freely trade, even if because I could have easily got right back into the same trade, even at 170, and got out at 190, possibly, with it being that was the high day that was set, you know. So I'm in at with 425 shares at 157, out 13 cents later at 170, $45 gain. A small account, that's great. Uh, for somebody who has a big account, that's a scratch. That's nothing. I probably still could consider that a scratch or nothing, but for me, that's a lot more than has grown in my bank account on any given day of the week. So that's a worthy trade. With a stop out set just real tight because I got in at 157. That's just 4 cents. I don't want these things to tick against me before I get out the trade. I'm buying for a breakout of 162. It did that. It stalled out at 173, so I'm out at 170 before this thing starts coming back down. Now, being that my time frame is really for the first hour of the day, so from 9:30 to 10:30 is when I'm trying to get in and out of any play that I'm in. This is why Foods for trading and that strategy really appealed to me, because Cameron Foods wants to get in and out of his trades within the first hour of the day lock in $1,000 a day, and then from there you can go live life for the rest of your day if you can just work 1 day a week or 1 hour throughout the day and earn 1,000. You know what I'm saying? You can live life at that point, um, instead of just merely chasing the money. So my original break was down here at 163. I got in probably at 157, a little early, anticipating that break, and it didn't do much for me in my time frame, so I got out. Uh, that counts as a green trade. It's tiny, tiny account. Now I don't have the same beginnings that Foos did with the Beamer and 10K, or uh, another guy I follow with 12K and bar mitzvah money, and or 10, 13K in a parent's loan, or 16K. As I just seen another recent trader who's blowing up, who started with 17K, 16K, or Stephen Duck started with 27K. Nah. So some of you out there that run into that and you shy away because you see that you ain't really got that much capital to begin with. And it makes so much more sense to begin with that kind of capital, as long as you know what you're doing, because that can easily be lost at the same time. But um, E-Trade isn't super trade friendly, meaning that like I can possibly get in 5 trades, or I couldn't even really do 3 day trades a week with this small account, being that I'm using the entire account 1 trade at a time. It makes no sense to really try to diversify $1,000 or less into 3 tiny trades, um, that your commissions are going to eat any gains that you would have. So for a while, as I hone in and get better, remember I paper trade at the same time as actual trade. Um, 1 trade at a time can actually grow though, because if I can get 2 trades in a week of this magnitude, not counting a loss, yeah, 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 it is extremely hard to grow a small account because you don't have losses, which I've got trade reviews out there of losses, and I'm going to continue to do them. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but this is, I mean, what else would you do? I see this as being a way of life for me in my near future, but it's a skill that I have to develop. And what better way to do that by growing an actual account while I learn, and while I find other ways to generate income to feed this trading business. These are humble beginnings, man. Working on this thing, trying to get better at it. To me, that's a good trade. To me, that's a good trade. Yeah, I could have held, should have held, would have held. There's always should have, could have, would have. But what happened was I locked in the game. Uh, don't matter the company, don't matter why they were running, lock in the game. See a reason to get in, even if it's just a 10 cent break, lock in that 10 cents gained. So I'll take it. It's better than 10 cents lost. My bank account has never gone up by $45 in a day. This is Pursuit of Freedom.